come to order. I see we are all here except for one from the 1st District, Alderman Vitale. So we will start with item 19 tonight. Ordinance to update newspaper distribution box regulations to comport with state law. And Pete, I believe this has been handled, but if you want to share anything with us, you're more than welcome.
Okay. The old ordinance had a 15-day waiting period to get rid of the boxes, so Cale thought we could, everything else we can remove immediately. Dave usually has the authority to immediately remove anything that's in the right-of-way, so that, I think, is the biggest change. But yes, the Shepherd Express has already removed all their boxes because they didn't want to pay the $30 per box.
Yeah.
So
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And then we have item 20, resolution to amend fee schedule by adding refuse cart pricing to Public Works section. Now, we met on this earlier, and maybe you want to just touch on it again, Dave, for people that are
It's
just turning on TV now.
Increase in pricing that's based on the new purchasing of refuse containers. We do provide refuse containers in 2 different sizes, 96-gallon and 64-gallon. Those prices went from $45 to $58 for the 96-gallon. And then for the 64, it went from $40 to $48.
Yeah.
So those prices were increased, and we feel that's due to the materials, the resin, the plastic material, to make those containers.
And again, it's been increased because our costs went up.
Yes.
These are not money makers for us.
Correct. Yep.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This motion carries as well. Item 21 is resolution to approve an agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to allow temporary parklet or pedlet installations on West Greenfield Avenue, WIS 59, between 76 and 70th, basically the downtown district. And I'm thinking Pete wants to talk about this one, correct? And what the changes were?
I guess Cale just got a final version about 2 hours ago that got everything that Cale was looking for as far as the insurance. But it's too late for Camino. I guess they didn't want to wait. I mean, it's already August, so I don't think they're going to put one in. But Miss Suenos, well, that's another discussion. But Miss Suenos and Urban Joe's already have one, so this permit would cover them. I've asked WISDOT many times about next year because their policy is they do not allow them ever. The only reason they're doing this is because of COVID. So I can't get them to say that they're going to allow this next year. So this agreement that we're signing is really just for 2021.
But we didn't have COVID 5 years ago when the pedlets were coming out.
WISDOT didn't care until the Federal Highway Administration started nosing around and got their nose out of joint, because if the right-of-way was paid for with federal funds, they're very strict at the federal and state level about no commercial use of right-of-way. So they're very sensitive. They've always been sensitive about that. You can't have any commercial signs, or they don't like commercial use of the right-of-way. So the federal highway must have gotten wind of this. I mean, it's not just Wisconsin. I mean, it's every state in the country. And the feds came down on the state and said, what are you doing about this? And the state that's what triggered all this, I think.
So the state is responsible for it, not the federal highway
The
department.
feds are making the state enforce
Right.
a law that was on the books that they were kind of looking the other way, I guess.
So does that mean that the feds are going to come and take care of the roads when they need to be plowed and stuff then? Because they're not going to let us do it.
They would argue that they have paid for, they do pay, the feds do pay for a lot of the work that WISDOT does. I mean, a large part of it, so they would argue that they did pay for some of it. But, so yeah, I don't have any guarantees that this will be allowed next year. We can do it on any others. We could do it on Beecher, Mark Lutz could do it.
Anything that's not a state.
It's just not a state highway, so I can't do it on
Chairman
highway.
Rowe?
Yes, please, go ahead.
So this has nothing to do with it being an actual issue as far as litigation, injuries,
No,
anything
it
like that. It's just not using it for commercial
Not to
reasons.
my knowledge, unless the Federal Highway had some cases, maybe in New York City or something. I don't know. I'm not aware of that, but
Okay.
Well, that's too bad, because they were welcome. They were
Yeah.
nice little
Right.
things.
Right.
People like
Yeah.
them.
right. But they're making an exception for COVID, and they have not said what will happen next year. So I'm not optimistic. Just the body language I'm seeing, that I don't think they're going to approve this next year. But we'll see. We'll try. But this is really just for this year.
Please.
So basically, this will end then this year.
November 1st, they have to be picked up before Dave starts plowing.
Okay.
So so this is really just for
That
3
means
more months.
These businesses wouldn't be allowed to put up the pedal.
No, and that's why Camino backed out. They had wanted to do it in May, and we kept having them wait because we weren't sure what the requirements were going to be. But so we got most of what we wanted in this agreement, but hopefully this is a blueprint for next year. But I really don't know if that's going to happen.
And we're
Mr.
hoping
Chair?
Dave doesn't start plowing till late December.
Right.
Hopefully, we won't have to.
January works for me.
So we're safe.
Don't push it.
Chairman Road, I have another question.
Yes, please.
So in instances like Miss Sueno's or other areas that already have their pedlets, and being it wouldn't be a highway, could they move it to a side street? Would we consider things like
We
that?
could permit it on the side
that
street.
investment that these businesses have already incurred, we can maybe work with them to find a different.
Yeah, I mean they're both mid-block,
Correct.
so I mean it'd be better if they were on a corner or something.
Urban
but-
Joe's
what
has
about-
that park next to him, doesn't
Well, and
it?
that's what,
something
Yeah.
yeah,
to
but
the
that's
east?
BMO, I
That's,
Okay.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's being biased.
yeah. Okay, with that being said, I would make a motion to approve.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Then we go to item 22, resolution to approve the sole source proposal of Stormwater Solutions Engineering LLC, better known as SSE, or also known as, to design green infrastructure improvement along 65th and 66th Streets for an amount not to exceed $81,000, and approving a 2021 Engineering Department fund transfer and amending the 2021 Capital Improvement Program. Go ahead, Pete, please.
Well, we've been working with MMSD for, I don't know, almost a year, a year now on this. It came out of their resilience plan that MMSD did. They want to help communities be more resilient against climate change. And they kept saying they wanted to leverage some of our existing projects. So 65th and 66th Streets were going to be done next year. They're in the CIP program. And MMSD said, well, let's do some stormwater green infrastructure on these, and we'll help you. We'll give you some money. And this also is coming from the federal government. The EPA has this program called Greening America, and they were working with MMSD to teach us a process to involve stakeholders. So we're going to have some meetings in the fall where we reach out to the neighborhood and kind of it's more inclusive of more stakeholders. But long story short, we're going to put in some permeable pavement maybe and some bioswales. MMSD is going to help us pay for some of it. The EPA apparently has some money. We don't know how much exactly. Stormwater Solutions is the company that MMSD hired to come up with the concept plan. I think that I attached their report to this in the Legistar. So I would like to hire that same firm to do the actual design. And we're doing this in record time because the 66th Street is right next to the farmer's market. So I can't promise that we'll be completely done by May 1st, but I want to get a very early start. That means I got to go to bid in January. That means I got 6 months to design it. So we're going to need some help. And designing bioswales is not something my staff or I have any knowledge about doing. So we need some experts to come in and help us. MMSD is going to help us with that. So
Mr. Chair.
that's what we're doing.
Please.
By doing this and getting the money from the EPA and MMSD,
MMSD.
does that mean it's going to lower the cost for the residents that have to contribute?
The special assessment rates are always the same for everybody. We don't alter them if there's federal funds, because the goal is to have everyone pay the same, if everyone be treated equally. Some people maybe would win the luck of the draw and be on a street like National, or not so much. No, we always keep the special assessments the same, unless we can't make a profit off special assessments. But if there's the special assessments are really only 20% of a job, so as long as we're not paying, I'm not explaining this well, but as long as we don't make a profit, we always charge the same.
So
Everyone's treated the same.
So what will be the ultimate benefit for this?
Less stormwater, less pollution. MMSD thinks this will help us be more resilient in climate change. They're predicting actually this area by Liberty Heights Park, on their maps,
So less
it could be
potential,
a flooding area.
less potential backup?
Yes.
Type thing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And this will help with our clean water permit
Yes,
as well?
yes,
Okay.
it will help with
Alderman
that.
Reinke.
Chair, could you elaborate a little bit on what they mean by green infrastructure?
Well, that would be the permeable pavers like we have at the library, where the bricks let the water go through. Yeah, or a bioswale. We're going to build a couple of bioswales in these parking lots in the bid this year.
Okay.
Kind of a swale with some wetland plants that will absorb the water.
Right.
Will also be attractive, hopefully.
So we're green. We're
Green,
greening.
but it's also a place for the water to percolate in and settle in, and then the pollution
Right.
stays on the ground, and the water is cleaned and goes into the ground. So it's a way of cleaning the water.
So the water quality will be.
Right. The underground water
Right.
is cleaner.
Okay. I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries as well. Item 23, resolution to approve bid of CW Pearl, Inc. for the reconstruction of municipal parking lots at South 71st to South 72nd and West Greenfield Avenue to West Orchard, and South 73rd to South 74th and West Greenfield Avenue to West Orchard in the amount of $640,230. Anything you want to?
Well, like I just said, these two parking lots are actually going to have bioswales and
Right.
permeable pavement. We're actually taking away a few parking spots to create almost like a little park, like a little mini park where the swale is. So I mean, it's going to be an attractive area in the back, because right now it's just all asphalt. And we're observing that most all the parking spots are not used typically. So I think we can give up a few and clean the water, make a little more of a park environment, and green it up a little bit. So I think they'll be nice addition to the bid district downtown.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Alderman Grisham.
Pete, I just have one question. I think it's a great idea, but those municipal parking lots are also used for tenants in that area to have overnight parking. How many spots are we going to lose, and will that impact?
It was like 5. I mean, it was very
Okay, so-
small number.
Okay. All right. That was my question. I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
when were these lots reconstructed previously? I
In
remember.
the 70s, I think it's been quite a while.
Has it been?
Yeah, they don't get as much wear and tear as a street. I don't believe they've been paved in a very long time, since the 70s.
Okay. Time flies.
Right. When I was this tall.
Big time. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And last, we have item 24, resolution to approve the bid of DC Burbach, Inc. for concrete pavement patching and miscellaneous manhole adjustments in various locations throughout the city of West Allis in the amount of $271,692. I think this is just a miscellaneous pattern throughout the city that we do where Okay.
Just like where we have,
Move
where we
to
have,
approve.
where we have manhole covers that are sunk
Second.
down and stuff like that.
In some cases, yeah, a lot of it's cracked concrete or mostly cracked concrete or potholes.
It's been moved in.
Seconded.
Seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Is there a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Okay, moving on. Thank you. I will call License and Health Committee to order. All members are present with the exception of Alderman Vitale, who is excused. We'll start with item 12, ordinance to amend special event permit process 0/2021-0061. And I believe this was really just to take a look at what process we're doing right now and its efficiencies, or can I have an explanation?
Yeah, this is getting a little complicated with all the departments going back and forth with estimating the cost and then following up with the applicants to get the money and things like that. So it wasn't really the amount of time that we were expending to get the money back wasn't working very well for the departments. So this is simplifying it a lot and helping with the block parties to just say those are $50 period for the neighborhood block parties, adding a definition for that, and then any events that are going to be estimated less than $500, we're not charging them that. Anything additional, what is it, $125 and $150 depending upon the class.
Well, so that's something was we eliminated the classes actually too, which was confusing for the public and for staff. So it was $200 for a single special event permit, but only $50 if it's a block party. So the simplified fee structure is, I think, a little easier for both the public and staff to help administer. Plus, it actually eliminates the insurance requirement, which was onerous for certain public events. And instead, it just simply says that if you got insurance, you don't want it, you should probably get it, but we're not going to be the insurance police. And then it simplifies, I think, a little bit of the way that if there is some very large special event in which the city incurs a significant amount of costs, over $1,000 of costs, there is a way of collecting that money. But for those moderate ones where it was, if we were breaking even on the efforts to collect, that would be a good day. Instead, we're saving it so the collection efforts happen when it's actually worth it, and it should overall be a savings of time and money for the city.
Okay, I do have a question. I know, just kind of touching base on block parties. One of the things we discussed when we put this together was conditions for neighborhood associations as incentives and whatnot. Will this impact them that it's across the board, or will we still give them the opportunity to have like one event in the summer through the West Dallas PD and
If
just
they're
give them the
working with the
information?
police department, they
Okay.
still have the same opportunity.
Okay, so neighborhood associations will not be impacted that way based on the conditions we have put on it before.
Yes,
correct?
so the way it works is if it's an event authorized by the Community Services Unit of the Police Department, then there's no permit required for that event.
Okay, all right, that's my question.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 13, 2021-0487, new Class A beer license application for Greeby's Bakery Incorporated, doing business as Greeby's Bakery, located at 5132 West Lincoln Avenue. Agent Brandon T. Greeby. My understanding, in speaking with Kale prior to the meeting, was that this is basically the same permissions that we gave for this Class A, which was a special stout beer. That was going to be served, basically, that is the only alcoholic beverage. And I believe we put a condition on that would be that, and that at the end of the license year, it would be surrendered. I think what was explained to me is Mr. Greeby would like to be able to just renew this and not have to come back each year for that. So it basically would be the same thing that he has right now, with the exception going forward, he doesn't need to surrender the license. Am I correct on that?
Yes, so I think the request was to still have that condition that Imperial Stout that they serve is the only alcohol they're allowed to serve, but instead put him on the renewal cycle as opposed to the annual new license cycle.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry.
so if the committee agrees with that, a motion to grant the license with the condition of having the single stout be the only served beverage, then that's all the committee would have to do.
That was my question, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
do I understand this right? They already have a license?
In the mid-year of 2020 to 2021, they asked for a license.
Right.
And the council granted them that license, but put two conditions on it. One, that they only sell that beer for breakfast stout that they make out of their own, I think it's part of the brewing process, the leftovers, or the baking process is used to make the beer, something along those lines. But just that one special beer is all they wanted to serve. That was one condition. The second condition, though, was that they surrender the license at the end of the license year, thereby making it not a permanent property interest and not putting the council in a position where they had to renew it unless there was a violation. It was sort of a way of giving them a trial period to see how it went. There were no issues that were reported, and they did, in fact, just serve the single beer the whole time. So the request now is to have a regular license without the need to surrender so they could get on the renewal schedule, but they're still okay with the condition of selling that single beer that was made, I think it was made in East Troy somewhere.
The
Yeah.
crawler
It was a
flavored
crawler
beer.
flavor,
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for refreshing my memory.
So I make a motion to approve under those the stipulations that you dictated.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approves. Okay, we're going to move on to item 14, 2021-0570, Christian Plumeri, agent for K-Plum LLC, Class B Tavern and Public Entertainment License Renewal Application with jukebox, pool table, amusement machines, and patrons dancing for Walker Inn at 900 South 74th Street.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Item 15, 2021-0550, renewal applications for certain licenses, adult-oriented establishment operator license, public entertainment premise, manufactured mobile homes and secondhand article and jewelry dealers, adult-oriented establishment operator license, Victoria Galindo, Temptations, public entertainment premise, Brandon Cuffer, Chuck E. Cheese, number 843, manufactured mobile homes, Joel Brown, Lincoln Park Mobile Home Community, second-hand article dealer, Jackie Hallberg Goodwill Retail Services, Michael Cheney, PC Repair, Minerva Sanchez, Happy 8 Collectibles, Svetlana Stanek, Three Sisters Furniture, second-hand jewelry dealer, James Barnes for Barnes Goldsmith Shop.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, there was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item 16, 2021-0573, Class B Tavern temporary premise extension and temporary public entertainment premises request for Dick and Gloria's Cocktails and Dreams LLC, doing business as Cocktails and Dreams, 2201 South 55th Street, with three exceptions. Exception from the contiguous area from the proximity to residential premises requirement. Establishment is less than 200 feet from the residential premise. An exception from the sound limitations for an event to be held on Saturday, August 28th, 2021. Do we have a representative from Dick and Gloria's here? Okay, would you mind coming forward?
You want to sit?
Yeah, please. And your name is?
Sarah Jablonski.
Sarah. Nice to meet you. With the exceptions, usually the committee wants to hear basically details of your event. So can you give us an overview of what the event is going to be? And
It's a surprise 29th bar anniversary party. We're surprising the owners with it. We're having a pig roast. We're going to have a couple bands outside. So we are going to block off half the road. So, you know, with COVID, there's social distancing outside. That'll be more comfortable.
okay, what is the time frame that you have on this? When would you like to have it?
About 1 p.m. to about 9 p.m.
Till 9 p.m.? Okay, and you're going to have 2 bands
Correct.
simultaneously, or? Okay. I was
They're gonna
going
have
to
a
say that
break
would
in the
make it a
middle.
little difficult to hear. Okay.
It's like a country and a bluesy rocks band.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Can we, or it says from an exception from sound limitations. I think we should keep it at the decibel level we've continued to do with other businesses around here. That's just a suggestion, which is under 100 decibels. I think they've been averaging around 88 to 92,
Right.
but keeping it under 100 decibels.
I think that's reasonable, but as far as gauging that, how would they do that for one single event? Is somebody going to have a decibel reader?
Are you having a sound company coming in and doing the sound?
Yes.
Most sound companies have decibel readers.
Okay, all right. I think that's reasonable. I would agree with that, that it would have to be 100 decibels or less.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
how close in proximity are you to residential?
We want to block off Grant Street. There's really no neighbors that close. There's one across the alley from us,
Okay.
which still that's, I would say, a good 2 house lengths away. And the other one's on 55th Street. Otherwise, we have railroad tracks right across the street and a warehouse building.
Okay.
I have an additional question. Have you had events like this in the past at all with outdoor music?
We did 2 years ago with music.
Have you had any complaints from the neighbors? Okay. Are you going to invite the neighbors?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Invite the neighbors. Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Send a car for 'em.
Yes, exactly. I think that's reasonable, especially when you're having an event outside that at least you touch base with your
Everybody's
neighbors.
welcome. Let's put it that way.
Madam
Sounds
Chair?
good. Go ahead.
All you guys do.
Is this the same? Is this the same situation for number 17 then as well? Another event?
That one, it's going to be a shorter party. That one's only going to be like 3 hours outside,
Okay.
if that.
Well, and you know what? Thank you for pointing that out, Alderman Stefanski, because we could have taken 16 and 17
Yeah,
together, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah,
So if we
because
can make that adjustment, are you okay with that, everyone?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so we'll take 16 and 17 together, and, yeah, the only thing is the stipulation that Alderman Stefanski put in, that it would have to be 100 decibels or less.
I will make sure.
The amendment, that would be, or condition.
Is that measured at the border of the premises or the 100 feet away? What distance would you like that measured?
Okay, what were we doing in
What
past?
are we doing at Polly's? Do you remember?
I believe it was 100 decibels, 100 feet away from the premises.
Yes.
I don't, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that's what you did. You're right.
100.
Yep, 100.
Okay, so we would need a motion to approve with the condition of 100 decibels or less at 100 feet.
I make a motion to approve that.
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
have your-
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great event.
I hope they don't watch this meeting.
Pardon me?
Make sure they don't watch the meeting.
Okay, final item 18, 2021-0585 Class B temporary premise extension request for 5th District Pub Incorporated doing business as Lynch's, 2300 South 108th, with one exception, request from the proximity to residential premises requirement. Establishment is less than 200 feet from the residence. I believe that there was an error in this. Am I correct?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead, please.
The exception is supposed to be from the normal duration because the event is actually after Labor Day. And these extensions are from the Memorial Day to Labor Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
So this is
Good catch.
requesting on September 25th. So it's just the one-day only event. I also wanted to get direction from the committee as far as if you wanted people that were coming after Labor Day. Did you still want them to come up here for one-day only events? Because you decided not to do that during the duration. I just want to know if you want that.
Are there thoughts on that?
We don't get that many requests for these events.
We don't. I know of a couple businesses that are going to come after Labor Day. Polly was one of them that wanted to have his Harvest Fest. And I think if it is more than a one-day event, yes, I would like to see them come before committee. If it's a one-day event, I think you guys can use your discretion.
And if they're going to follow the
Yeah.
ordinance and things like that, then we're good.
Right. Well, thanks for coming in
100,
again.
yep.
You're a frequent flyer these days.
Well, one of the reasons we're putting an event off is it usually was at the end of August, but we have some weddings that clashed against it.
Okay.
So we moved to the only available date that they could do this breast cancer mini golf outing for the ladies. And it just happens to fall on September, which, according to my extended premise, I have to have the apply again for one weekend, or actually it's just one day event, which is only from 11 till about 6 o'clock.
Would it be unreasonable to waive the 25, considering he would have had it in August, and being it's a benefit for breast cancer? I'm just asking. Would that be something that we would ever do?
Madam Chair, my suggestion would be to only either permanently waive for all applicants or enforce for all applicants, despite the altruistic nature of the event.
Makes sense. So $25 it is.
Right. That it?
Thank you for coming in. All right, that looks like.
We need
Go
a
ahead.
motion to approve, right?
Yes, we do have to.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then also, Madam Chair, in situations like this, when people are coming in, this item would still appear on the agenda somewhere. It's just a matter of whether you want it to be scheduled for the recess meeting or not.
Okay.
So if the direction today is we'll schedule things like this for the consent agenda, unless someone then pulls it, but we won't invite the person in, we'll do it consent agenda style. But any particular event or series of events, anyone on the committee could pull that item and request it, someone to come in.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Daniel.